I would just tape 2 Roombas to my feet.
Or get like Heelys permanently implanted in my feet.
There you go.
Matthew, how you doing? You're in ghost mode right now for me.
But like you can't see me?
No, I can hear you, but you look really scary. Am I the only one?
No,
He's like the villain from the Sinister movies. Sorry, Hawk.
I'm sorry about that. Does this help?
Oh, great! Woo! Michael. The winner of our first immunity challenge is
Sam.
the 6th member of our jury, Carrie. Carrie, I'm so sorry.
Tides of fate.
Are the anchors down or up right now?
They're up. Okay.
Okay.
Boat time. Sorry, it's boat time. Have you? All right, on your turn. Gonna roll 1d4. You have 3 hit points left. So embarrassing. 3 points left. Down to 1 hit point. Matthew, everybody else, perfect health. As the boat swings you around, it actually it yoinks you, and you start to fly around with your rope.
I almost just feel safe on my dinghy.
Okay, I'm taking the sword, I'm taking the knife, and I still have the thing that I can thing with beer.
I'm kind of just happy on my dinghy. Like
Ellie has drowned. Evan has just won immunity.
I don't really know how to talk to or interact with children.
Sam, I'm now just seeing the Nick Jonas red dress thing. Genius.
Thank you. It was a good joke, and no one said anything when I made it.
I completely missed that, but I will second the good joke.
I'm sorry, I just wasn't in touch with popular culture when the Jonas Brothers were popular. So
Tell me what your hunch is. Who didn't tell you the truth this tribal council?
I kind of feel like Evan didn't tell me the truth.
Okay. We will find out if that is the truth. There are no pre-vote advantages to be played at this point. Those have expired. So we're just going to go straight into the vote. I'm going to make the breakout rooms. Alrighty, Matthew.
what's up?
That kitten is adorable.
Thank you. My vote is for Sam. I don't really have an explanation there. She's a great lady, but someone's got to get voted for.
Okay, Ellie. Hi, Ellie.
This is the hardest vote for me in the whole game that I've made so far. I'm making this so that I can stay in the game, because if I didn't make this vote, there wouldn't be a choice for either of us. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm voting.
Hi, Evan. You know.
Hi, Ethan. So the thing is I have been undecided. Going into this, I did tell Ellie and Matthew I was voting Sam, but I had told Sam I was voting Matthew, and I've kind of been back and forth on those two because I am sticking to my word with Ellie throughout this entire game not to vote for her, and I think we've done a lot of the blindsiding, and so I think we need to share that bitterness tonight. So it's been Matthew or Sam, and I think I'm going to have to vote.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Ethan.
All right, you know the drill.
All right. This is a really hard vote because I really, really like everyone, and I wish all 4 of us could go to the top. I'm voting for this person just because the other 2 people that I'm not voting for, I felt closer with, and I feel like my shot is better with them in the top 3 with me. And like I said in the last tribal cancel, I'm trying to play a much more honest game with this last session tonight. So the person that I'm voting for is Matthew.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. The votes are in. Nobody can play immunity idols at this point in the game. I will just read the votes. Once the votes are read, the decision is final, and the person voted out will stay on the call. We'll move right into final tribal. Will become the 7th and final member of our jury. I'll read the votes. Here we go. First vote, Sam. Second vote, Matthew. Third vote, Sam, the seventh member of our jury. Sam. Sam, I'm so sorry. We exhale. Give this a moment to stew. All right, well, final three. Evan, Ellie, and Matthew. Congratulations. You have made it as far as you can make it in this game. You have done what everybody else could not. Your job next is to think of an opening statement, why you should be considered sole survivor over the other two. I'm going to give us 5 minutes. Jury, in the meantime, think of anything you'd like to say to the final three, a question you might want to ask any of them or all of them, anything you might want to say to them, or anything you might want to say to the jury. The criteria for how you want to vote is yours. Anything that you want for any reason. Great, so I'm going to give us 5 minutes. We'll be back at 9:38 Eastern to begin the final tribal council. Let me know if you have any questions. Just send me a message. All right, everybody, let's start coming back. Hi, Sassy.
Ethan, is Sassy still really violent?
No. She's totally changed.
That's really wonderful to hear. That speaks to the power of growth.
Oh, here we go. And also, please welcome Kenter Davies, winner of Survivor Icons versus Legends 2. And I believe we got one more coming. Here we go. Excellent. And this is everybody. And please welcome back Anna OD, winner of Survivor Skid Kids versus Massholes Season 1. This happened last time. She can't hear me. She loves to be in the spotlight, so she knew that I was singing her praises right now. It's all right. We're going to move on. Nice, it's true. All right, everybody. Well, Matthew, Evan, Ellie, congratulations. Top three. Now is the time where the power shifts in the game. The jury, who you all voted out, will now be deciding which of you wins this game. So we're going to start off by going through each of you. You each are having a moment to say an opening statement. Evan, would you please go first?
Yeah. So first off, just want to thank Ethan for hosting an awesome game. And I also just wanted to thank all of you guys for making this game incredible. I was really impressed by like the caliber at which people like really tried to play this game and like the strategies that were going on. So it was definitely like worth the time, I feel like. So for me coming into this game, I knew how important relationships are going to be, especially as someone who isn't from Skidmore. I saw the cast list. You just like hover over like your Facebook profiles. It says Skidmore, Skidmore, Skidmore. I think there were maybe like 6 people who weren't Skidmore, and then amongst those 6, you had I believe 3 Davidson people. So like it was like me, Reagan, and maybe someone else I'm forgetting right now who's like had no affiliation with people. But so I came in and I really just tried to work on those relationships since that I didn't do that the last time I played in this game. And so some big ones I really worked on were with Sam in the very beginning, Ellie in the very beginning, and then Margot when she joined our team. And obviously, it's not a good look that 2 of those 3 are not sitting here with me. But I think that's just the name of the game with survivors. You have to kind of maneuver through these relationships and get people to want to work with you, but also hopefully feel good if you have to take them out, and that might be the problem with my game is I don't know if I made people feel good with the way they went. But so quick highlights of my game that I like to point out is challenges. I won 4 out of the 7, I think, individual immunity challenges. The big one I think was the Q&A challenge, just because I think that really shows just like how perceptive I was trying to be this game. I sent Ethan a screenshot, but I actually listed those questions and I wrote all your names and I tried to order what I thought each of you would vote for that answer, which kind of helped me navigate to get most of those right. But in terms of social gameplay, I don't think I was ever really targeted. The only time my name got written down was by Storm at the Margot vote because she didn't want to vote. She wanted Margot gone, but she didn't want to write her name down. So she told me she was writing my name down. So that was the only time my name got written down. Strategically, I was involved and partially masterminded, I think, almost every elimination. I was a big part of the Grant vote. I was a part of the Margot vote. Wasn't quite a mastermind thing, but it was a vote I was a part of. I had to take Storm out because of her idol, and Matthew's idol going into final 5 would leave me, Sam, and Ellie as the only ones that could be voted out. So I was involved in everything, and I was constantly being fed information, so I know where every advantage was held, where people were like voting. So I think I was involved with everything, and I was a lot of the times coming up with the ideas of how to progress forward to get me and my allies farther in this game. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Ellie, would you like to go next?
Sure, I can go next. Hello, everyone. Coming into this game, I knew that there were a lot of people who didn't go to Skidmore. I knew that I went to Skidmore, and I knew that that would probably put a target on my back. I wasn't extraordinarily close with any of the Skidmore people, so I really played that up with the non-Skidmore people to make a lot of ins. I knew this was a season of chaos, and at the very beginning, Ethan said that the winner of this, he believes, will play with the chaos and not try to fight it. And I really didn't try to fight it. My strategy almost at every interval was to get myself to where the majority was. And if I couldn't do that, then to make a majority myself. Some moves I definitely want to highlight. I told everyone at the very beginning that I wasn't a fan of Survivor. False. I'm a fucking super fan. I know everything there is to know about Survivor. I've watched every single episode. And so if I was ever in a group chat with you and I was like, Reddit's telling me a different thing, I'm not on Reddit. I'm not fucking on Reddit. And so in group chats and in individual games, I was able to tell people that I didn't know anything about the game, which gave me information, let me know what they knew, but also tell my group chat things that I knew that I couldn't say that I knew, and also kind of give me an insight into people's personal game. This allowed me to also think about like mastermind, splitting the votes. And I think my knowledge of the game was really powerful for me to get me to where I am right now. I had a lot of number ones, and some ranked higher in priority than others. Most of my number ones are sitting on the jury right now. I think people who say that you put people who you think will vote for you on the jury play a stupid game. I didn't do that. I wasn't lying in the last tribal when I said I genuinely think that everyone who's on the jury right now would beat me if they're sitting next to me. And so when I say that I was pivotal in, like, I was in on every single vote and I was putting people on the jury, like, that comes as a deep compliment for me, although it doesn't feel like it, but genuinely you are where you are right now because you couldn't be sitting next to me, because then that wouldn't be very strategic. I found a steal a vote and a block a vote very early in the game and lied to everyone that I didn't find anything. And then Tatsu sent me a video after they quit and said that they're willing their steal a vote to me. Ethan didn't let me have the steal a vote, but I sent people the video and I was like, I just got a steal a vote. At one point in the game, everyone knew that I had a steal a vote. And when I used it, everyone on the board knew that I was going to use it. And so when everyone had faces of shock, they were all fake. And that was an awesome moment for me because absolutely everyone thought that I was going to use that for a different reason. There wasn't one person who was out of that. I was able to also kind of mastermind the Grant blind side, and I can talk more about that because Grant was my number one. And then after Margot got revealed, I was the one who told Margot to tell everyone that it was Matthew. And Margot told a private group chat that I was in that it was Grant, and I felt lied to. So I started concocting a blindside. And by the time Grant came out to me and said that they're the agent and offered me an idol if we went to dice, it was too quick for me to undo that. And I genuinely feel terrible about that. But that's kind of what had to happen because the wheels were already so far in motion that I couldn't backtrack. It was a real bummer, but after the Grant vote, I was able to pull Carrie in, which I think was huge for my game. Carrie, I really enjoyed reconnecting with you. I genuinely am sorry that I flipped you off that one tribal. I'm genuinely really sorry about that. I also told Grant not to tell you about their idol and not to tell you that they were the agent so that you could come to my side after, which was huge for my game as well. And I also dispatched Sam and Storm to make Carrie and Grant feel safe during that vote. I got the numbers for the Grant blind side and made sure that Sam didn't have to vote with the blind side so that Sam could also pretend that she was blindsided. Sam was my idol, my ally from day number one. That was the absolute hardest decision I ever had to make in the game. Evan and Grant were voting Sam, and there wasn't a place for me in final three. If we tied, Sam, I'm so sorry, dude. I literally just cried about that. Flipping also with Margot was not something that I planned to do before Tribal, but the game was designed so that there are two agents and you have to get those agents out or else something bad happens and you go to dice. And Parker was one of my number ones, and I saw Parker get completely blindsided by the dice, and that was incredibly traumatic. I know, literally get the dice out. And so I think in terms of overall gameplay, I did what I think as a player who wasn't an agent I was supposed to do and ensure that the majority was safe from the chaos. And I kind of went with that and I didn't try to fight it. I also gave my alliance members a lot of information that I think was pivotal in helping them and helping me make the decisions that we made. Trains was huge. I also think that I, more than anyone else who's sitting in the final three, took these people with me and had a hand on the wheel for most of the game. The Storm vote, the Carrie vote, the Sam vote, the Margot vote, the Grant vote, so fucking hard. But I'm hoping, and I realize that a lot of people might be mad at me right now. I'm hoping that in the name of Survivor, and I'm fucking, if you don't vote for me, like no hard feelings, but you think about how to vote a little bit more with your head and a little less with your heart. Things I'm not proud of. There is a nature to the game of Survivor where the game calls for lying and cheating other people and blindsiding other people. And it is an individual game. And a lot of people forget that it is an individual game. And it can be a group game and you can play as a group and alliances come in and trust clusters come in. Thank you, Hannah, from Millennials versus Gen X. But there are things that happen that call for a certain kind of betrayal that I was able to kind of do the dirty work for a lot of people who are sitting here with me. And I'm hoping that even though I got my hands dirty a little bit, you can see past that and just see how big those moves had to be so that I could rack up a resume, which I believe is the biggest resume of anyone here. I was in on every single vote since the beginning in Aubergine Queens, things I'm proud of. I really put the time in, you guys. I sunk hours into strategizing and double strategizing and getting in on alliances, and then and getting in on deeper alliances within those alliances. I'm really proud of the fact that I was able to make connections with people that I truly believe are bigger than the game. If I hurt you, I'm genuinely, I'm really fucking sorry. I've cried. If you have words you need to say to me, I'm open and I'm here to hear those words. But I've really enjoyed meeting people and reconnecting with people. And I'm proud that I was able to do that, because I think that takes a certain level of social skills, but I also think that not only does that speak to my game, but I think that speaks to me as a person. And I would love to continue the friendships that I've made in a very serious way. I was straightforward with people until I absolutely had to betray them. So there was no unnecessary lying on my part. The nature of this game is betrayal, lie, deception, and I think I was able to hold off on that as long as possible. And I'm sorry if I'm not your favorite person, but I played the game. I did play the game. Like, it's the name of the game, and I played it hard. I strategized. If anything, I don't think you can accuse me of playing the game and not playing hard. I again tried to reach out for the majority of the people. I tried to watch out for my own back as well, and I tried to get as much information as the chaos as possible. The bottom line is that I think I spearheaded the largest moves in this season that this season saw. I hope that you could see that in a game of pure chaos, I outwitted, outplayed, outlasted, and I deserve to represent this season as its winner. That's me.
Alrighty. Matthew, could you close it out for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you guys don't mind if I sort of err on the side of brevity here. Gonna keep it pretty short and sweet. You know, my philosophy this whole game and really in life is, who am I to try and, you know, control the havoc around me, the ocean, the tides, the hurricane. You know what? I ride it out and I see where it gets me. And it's gotten me to here. I don't know if it'll get me any further. That's up to you guys, but far be it for me to try and, you know, make that choice for you. I don't even know how I would influence that. So you know what, vote for me if you guys want. Otherwise, vote for Evan and Ellie. I had a really fun time, and I think seemed like everybody was playing with it with a sense of real good sportsmanship. It seemed like fun, so I'm glad to have played with all you guys, and we'll just see what happens. So thank you.
Word. Okay. All right, now we're going to proceed on to the jury portion of the final tribal. We're going to go one by one. I'm going to call up jury members in reverse elimination order, or in elimination order. You're going to have a moment to say whatever you like to whomever you like. Parker, could you please start us out?
Hello. I've missed my voice in these councils. So glad to speak again. So this whole game was such a hoot. It was so fun getting to know everyone, and I hope that we'll stay in touch. Everyone, I'm sure, loves games to some element, to some degree. So we should all have game nights aside from that. I mean, I really don't have much anger towards anyone in this game. I know that Carrie was trying to get me out right before I was going out. And I'm over it. I think I still would have gone on because I had a strategy, I had my people, and I think we all know who's to blame for me not winning this game of Survivor, and that's on the screen behind me. That is the evil dice. I just really have one more thing to say about that, is that I think that we never saw the dice, nor did we see what numbers we were assigned, and I personally think that Ethan had been dead out for me, and is just trying to ruin my life. But, you know, I have moved on, and I'm excited to get to this final vote. I'm happy to see Team Trains at the top. That was definitely the most memorable part of the game for me. That was like the biggest part, was our team. And I have a lot of respect for all of you. I guess I just have one question for Ellie. you said you had a lot of number ones, and I don't really understand that because a number one feels like one. I personally, you were my number one along with Storm, and now towards the end I got closer with Margot, but like initially it was you and Storm. Um, and I was wondering if you genuinely considered me as your number one, and if we were at this point or we were at top four, would you still be rooting for me and fighting for me as your number one, or would you have turned on me by now, like you did seems to a lot of other people?
Yeah, I can answer that. Uh, yeah, so the nature of this game also is that it changes and it shifts and it's absolutely different every vote because there's a void that cannot be filled and someone leaves. And at that point in the game, Parker, like you were my number one. Like that, like if I told you that you were my number one, like that wasn't a lie. And things change and things shift and everything's fluid, and like when you left, like I had to fucking fill a void. And like Evan was my number one, I think, for really like the majority of the game, and Sam also, like from day one. But like when we were on that tribe, like you had my life in your hands. Like I would have voted how you say a name and it wasn't mine, and like it wasn't Evan's, then like I would have written it down. Yeah, and if the roles like were reversed, and or not if the roles were, if you hadn't gotten out like by dice, like I don't I don't foresee, like I'm not saying that, like, but it all depends, like from votes and stuff. And like if I'm being honest, like I have a track record of getting to where I am right now because I had to like throw other people. So I don't know what could have happened. Like at that point you could only see so far, so the farthest I was seeing is that I wouldn't have betrayed you. But if I'm being honest, like I couldn't see very far at all. We had just made the merge, and there was a lot that happened in the week between the merge and then the week after, and then there was a lot that happened in that game as well. um I genuinely liked reconnecting with you. I genuinely love you as a human. I wasn't lying to you. I don't think I told you one lie. Because again, like I was straightforward with people until I absolutely couldn't be. But as far as I could see at that point in the game, I didn't see me turning on you.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to all our final three, and all the love to our game master, Ethan.
Thank you, Parker. All right, next up, Grant. It is your turn.
Yeah. First of all, congrats you three. Like I agree with Ellie when she said that she really played the game, and I think all three of you certainly really played the game. And it's hard. This is a very stressful thing. So mad props. I'm just gonna be blunt. Matt and Evan, like I worked with you guys. I worked with you, Evan, a little bit, and that we didn't talk very much at all. But I felt no animosity. I did feel like a willingness to participate, even if you knew you may have to betray me one day. Ellie, from day one, you were cooking me like a goose, and I feel silly like a goose. You said that you had many number ones. You didn't betray people until you absolutely had to. And this can be a question for everyone. I'm curious about how deciding your jury went, right? Like if you have multiple number ones, how are you deciding on your jury? How are you deciding what moves to make so that people still feel good about going out, right? If I'm being honest, like when I got blindsided, I was mad that it was a blindside, but I was like, if I was gonna go out, it had to be big. It's a good way to go. But it still kind of stung, and it stung for a few days afterward. And there's no way to know how people are going to react to get voted out. But I do think there is a part of the strategy that involves considering how people's feelings will be after they get voted. If I'm being totally honest, Ellie, I don't feel like you consider that as you made your moves, and I don't think that I'm the only person who thinks that. So I would like to know, what kind of consideration did you put into how we would feel being on the jury? And this goes for all three of you, because we did talk in bits, and I'd be curious to know how you came to that decision.
I can go first because I really want to respond to that. Um, Again, I really didn't lie to you until I absolutely had to. I felt a little bit like a goose when I found out that you were the agent and you didn't tell me. And that was like the first really big um, moment of like betrayal that I made. And I felt, I mean, I can say how bad I felt or whatever, but that'll just, I mean, waste your time. I did hope that at some point, if I made it to the jury or if I made it to the end, I could explain to you that the wheels of the blind side were already in motion and that I wasn't the one who let up your secret. And that if there was a way for me to save you, I would have. But I didn't foresee that. And I looked really hard, like really, really hard. And I didn't intend for you to feel like a cooked goose. I was genuine with you from the beginning. I told you also that I was with you and I was with you in the votes that we were together. And after the merge, I was with you. But when I found out that you were lying to me about the agent, that was kind of a hard hit for me to take because I had been completely candid with you. And then, of course, after I felt bad when you finally came clean to me, I felt really bad about that. And I wish that that conversation had happened sooner. I was confused as to why it didn't happen on Aubergine Queens because like the minute also after the merge, like I came to you, I told you about the advantages I had, and I told you that I wanted to work with you. Um, so yeah, I am genuinely sorry for any hurt or any sting that this caused you. I think that that's one of the regrets that I have in my game is that I think I caused a lot of people some hurt and sting, and I don't think I put as much care into that as I needed to. I think I also spread myself a little thin because I got really excited, and I wanted to play with everyone. And like that wasn't a lie. Like I really wanted to play with everyone, and I was excited that people wanted to play with me too because I love this game. And playing it and watching it on TV are different. Also, the nature of this game is different because when we don't want to talk to someone, we can just put our cell phones down. We're not stuck on an island with someone. The jury thing, I don't, I didn't put a lot of thought into um like who on the jury would absolutely not vote for me, because the most exciting part of the game is obviously like going vote to vote. And I think the winning is just like a cherry on top. Like I'm happy to sit where I am right now and plead my case to you. But a lot of you didn't, I mean, all of you didn't get the opportunity to do that. And for that, like, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely regret that. I also like thought about when we were voting people off, like less who would vote for me, but more who would I want to take to the final three, if that makes sense. And so after after I found out that you were an agent, obviously that couldn't happen. So I apologize for that on a personal level, and I I don't know. I just kept playing the game.
I guess I'll go next. So yeah, so I was also a part of that vote, and I feel like Grant, like I felt good with you at the beginning of the game. I was like, okay, I really like Grant. I liked you. I think I've said this. Like Grant and I played 2 games ago. The one Kenter won, and I was out pretty early. But I had no animosity towards Grant, and like when I saw they were on my tribe, I was like, oh, cool. Like put this behind us, like it'll work. And obviously when I learned that you were the agent, that kind of messed things up. And similar with my relationship with Margot is that like I really like liked you both and I really wanted to work with you, but there was this factor there that like your existence meddled in my confidence of getting further. And so I think in the early part of the merge, I wasn't super focused on who would vote for me because it was a little bit more, especially with the fear of dice, a little bit more of a preservation instinct, which is why the Grant, like I was like, okay, like Grant has to go, and I kind of had to play that kind of like naive, oh, I don't know what's going on. Everyone's telling me Matthew. That's like what I told you, and I had to tell you and Carrie to keep you both feeling good, because we hadn't established that kind of relationship where I really had to lie more than that. I tried to play in a way where I got close with people to feel good and trust them and they trust me. But I think what differs from Ellie is I don't think other than I think with Margot and Sam, I don't think I got to that level where I was promising number ones with people. So like for me, like I had told Ellie early on, she was my number one, and kind of part of my jury management thing is I was recognizing how angry a lot of you guys are at her. And I think she kind of claimed a little bit too much of the credit for a lot of these things because she was telling me everything and I was counseling her, and like I knew like the whole she knows Survivor. I knew that. She told me about your idol immediately when we were on the trains. We like getting fed information from her, and I was like helping her work through the things. So I think I have a equal part in a lot of these moves that I think were kind of claimed by her. But so later on, like especially this round with Carrie and Sam, I initially wanted to actually tell Carrie I was voting for her. I think our paths just never really aligned, and I knew that I was after Matthew. I think I would probably be next for you. I know you were much closer with Ellie and Sam than you were with me, which is totally understandable. So I was gonna tell you, but then backed out. But with Sam, I actually did tell her. Bad timing was right when she was answering Ethan's question, but I told her I was up in the air and that like I respected her, and like I didn't want her to feel completely blindsided if I did go that way. I sat at the urn knowing I was gonna either vote her or Matthew because I had picked one number one, which was Ellie, and so I felt if Sam was here, she would hands down sweep us, which is why I felt that she was the better person to eliminate that round. So I think there's definitely some animosity towards me as well in terms of these moves. I know, especially Margot, I burned her pretty hard. Storm, we were like close, but I think also not as close as you were with other people. I knew like you were definitely tighter with like especially Ellie, but I did burn you. I knew about your idol because I was told about your idol. And so when I realized we were going into top five, after like if we voted Carrie, right, instead of you, we'd be going to top five where you and Matthew had idols. And that means that me, Ellie, or Sam would go at 5 instead. So it was going to be Carrie. And then last minute, I was like, wait, Matthew, Storm have idols. We have to take out Storm so that me, Sam, Ellie, and Matthew can guarantee top 4. So yeah, so it was a mix of preservation in the beginning and then also trying to make people feel good with me in a way that they want to work with me, but not hopefully hate me for the moves I made.
Again, I'm going to go on the side of brevity because, almost 2 hours in Zoom. So, forgive me if I skip over important. Yeah, really, I think I just want to say, first of all, I had a target on my back for a lot of rounds, so I was usually more focused on how can I make sure I can get through this than like specifically who do I knock out. So usually I just tried to, if like insofar as I had input, angle it towards people that I thought I could safely get out over me. And so that was my main concern. And I'll say beyond that, I'm pretty sure I didn't really burn anybody. I'm sorry if I did and I'm not thinking about it, but I think, those of you who I did vote against and outlasted, I sort of dealt with you in a pretty clean and straightforward way. I think that's up to you guys to judge, but you know, I don't really feel like I have much to apologize for here in terms of voting people out. Obviously, don't love the feelings getting hurt aspect of the game, but you know, certainly didn't try to add any more to that than had to be done. So, yeah.
Word.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Great. Next member of our jury, please step up. Margot.
Hi, everyone. So I guess I'll try to make this brief as well. When I got voted out, I was really bitter, but at this point, I feel like it's less like I'm bitter and more like, okay, so you, Evan and Ellie, you guys say you're such big fans of the game, but you both really missed a very key element of the game, which is getting the people who you vote out to want to vote for you in the end. And I think this has been echoed by a few other jurors, but I don't know how much that's true with the people sitting on the jury. And, you know, you can have strategy, you can win challenges, but at the end of the day, if people don't want to vote for you, they're not going to vote for you. And I think that's something that was missing from two of your games, big time. But like I said, it's not me being bitter anymore. It's more of just like me being also a fan of the game and really identifying this pretty huge error in both of your games. Like, you spent an hour talking to me on FaceTime before the game I got voted out in, which just feels like way too far and like way too much time to put in the game just to, you know, betray everyone that you were allied with. So that's that. And I don't know if I really have any questions for either of you that haven't already been answered. But Matthew, I do have a pretty important question for you. Can you tell me all of the years that X-Men got released in and give me a brief summary of each movie?
Absolutely. So I think we're going to want to start off with X-Men, the original movie, which is Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. This is in 2001. And Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants have devised a design for a machine that will turn normal people into mutants. So they kidnap Senator Robert Kelly and turn him into a mutant. Basically, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants end up fighting the X-Men. The X-Men win, so the machine doesn't turn everybody into mutants, something like that. Next movie, X2, X-Men United, that's 2003. That's we've got Nightcrawler in it, beginning scene where he teleports around the White House. Commander Stryker can mind control mutants. He's the bad guy. Wolverine's origin story is tied in with that. Next one is X-Men The Last Stand, comes out in 2005. Yeah, and I think that one is very much based about sort of the Dark Phoenix saga, but sort of much worse. Juggernaut is in it. After that, let's see, we've got, I think, X-Men Origins Wolverine is the next one in 2008. That one generally considered to be one of the worst X-Men movies, so we don't need to dive into that one too much. We have X-Men First Class in 2011, which has young Magneto and young Professor X. And they sort of form the X-Men to go and fight off this other guy. And then after that, you've got X-Men Days of Future Past in 2014. Wolverine goes back in time to stop like the rise of the Sentinels because all the X-Men have been sort of defeated by them in the future. Then there's X-Men Dark Phoenix, which came out in 2018. Oh, I skipped X-Men Apocalypse, which came out in 2016, which had Apocalypse as the main villain. Don't remember that much other than that. Not very good. Dark Phoenix I watched recently. They go to space. Also the Dark Phoenix saga, also very not good. I know the Wolverine and then that last Wolverine movie are in there somewhere as well, but I don't think they're part of the main franchise, so I won't count them. But that's what I know about the X-Men movies.
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay.
Wait, I think Evan and I in the chat really quickly wanted to respond to Margot's comment, if that's okay.
Oh, sure. As long as
Evan
Margot.
and
I guess I'll go first. So yeah, Margot, everything you said is definitely valid and true. I think something I want to like try to like point out for some of my decisions is, and I hope you understand this also as a fan, is that like if I went with like the plans we set up, so we had a 4-person alliance, right? The meme team, you, me, Ellie, Matthew. If I just went with that, I go into dice with Matthew and Storm having idols. And obviously I did win that challenge. If I somehow had that magical foresight where I knew I would be immune that round, maybe I would have chosen differently. But I did basically 2 things factored into like my decisions for a lot of these things where if I just went with the plan for everything, then it was going to be Carrie, then I guess our ideal plan was then Sam getting diced out, which wasn't ideal to me because she was a good ally of mine. And then it seemed like Storm was on the outs of our 4-person alliance there. And then we get to the final 4, and I think I've basically just sat there following you and Ellie. And I think if you were in the final 3, I think and same with Grant, honestly, which was a big factor also why I wanted them out, is I think if either of you 2 made it to the end as the agent, I think you would deserve every jury vote. And so there was something that struck out to me was when we talked about the final 4 was with Meme Team, and we talked about what we would do. I threw Ellie's name out there mostly just because I knew I would tell her that I did this because I didn't.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I would like to remind everyone that it is almost 10:30. We have been at this for 3 whole hours, and we have other things to do tonight. I just want to put that out there to 2 people in particular. Thank you. Please continue.
Okay. Yep, that's totally understandable. Basically what you had said, right, was tie it up and leave the chance, and I just felt like I was doing so much to basically just have a bunch of chances thrown my way and then not have a name for myself, basically. So that's all. But I do genuinely respect you.
I'm gonna make this super quick. I think my jury management looked like if I sent home people that I was friends with or that I was number ones with, I originally just assumed that they would vote for me, but I realized halfway through the game, not the case. Super, super not the case. And that was a huge flaw. That was a huge error in my game. And so to combat that, I just tried to put together the most strategic game as possible and hope that you would see that I had stars and racked up a huge resume and hope that that would plead favor in a game of chaos.
Go. Alrighty. Next up, Storm.
First and foremost, I in the beginning, before we even really started playing, sent that gift that said I am rooting for everybody Black, and I regret not telling Grant that they was about to get you out. I am sorry that we trusted these white children. Anyway, what else do I have to say? Pretty much, I would like to let Ellie know that no, let me stop. Because then we're gonna get another speech. I just don't like long game. I just like that was really dumb for real, y'all. Like I don't. What was because you cannot look somebody in the face and say, oh, like you were my number 1 at that point. If you were willing to betray them in the next round, they weren't your number 1. That's not what number 1 means. If you think that's what it means, that's on you. And the fact that like you let somebody else see that and then use that against you to get you for, oh my God, hot mess. This ain't even a question. This is just really a speech. And I said what I said.
Thank you,
Can I
Storm.
quickly respond to that or no?
It's up to Storm.
No, please.
Okay. Thank you, Storm. Alrighty. Next up, Carrie.
I knew I was going home. It wasn't a shock to me. Evan, I think your mistake in the game was being allied with Ellie. I think because of her betrayals to most of the people sitting on the jury, you are now a casualty of that. I also just want to say that like there have been several lies thrown out there tonight that just like, we know they're lies. And that's really all that matters, that it's the jury that knows that they're lying. Matt, I'm rooting for you, bud. That's it.
Word. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for that. And finally, the final member of our jury, our fallen angel, Sam.
Hi, how y'all doing? I want to start just, let's loop it back to a little bit of positives before I like tear some people new assholes. But I am really thankful that I got to play this game. It was really, really fun. And yeah, it was an honor to play with folks. I had a good time. It was fun to stir shit up with folks as long as I could. And I'm glad to have been here. Yeah, I'm gonna pull my career card for a bit and just, as a social psychologist, right? Y'all who are getting voted for should know that I think it's clear we've all made up our mind. So I think as this is the last point at which that you can tell the truth if you have the option to. And I would implore you to take that. And I'm gonna say some stuff to set the record straight and then just ask a really simple question that doesn't need explanation. And I want you guys to think about answering it as honestly as possible. Echoing folks, yeah, I feel like, Ellie betrayed a lot of people. Evan, even though you were somewhat honest with me towards like the very end, that almost fucking hurt more because I knew Ellie was stabbing people in the back and I kind of felt like I was next on the chopping block, but like didn't really feel that about you. But I did appreciate that you told me that. And also, so everyone is saying, and I agree, that like, Evan, you are sort of being brought down by Ellie in this vote. Might it have been a tactical choice to have a 3-person alliance in the top 3? So that way, like, it's an even playing field at that point. And at least Evan, you probably have a better shot of winning. I think that would have been the tactical choice. I told you that you have a better chance of winning if I was in the top 3 and you ignored that. And I told both of you that I didn't really have an interest in winning this game. And I meant it. I know that sounds like a crock of shit, but I just wanted to play as long as I could, get involved in all of the hot shit and drama, which I did. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad to be out as the last member of the jury. No one can say anything about me at this point, and it's quite fun now to be in this seat. So no hard feelings. My last question, with no explanation, I want you guys to just like, pretty much everyone is saying that like they've been voted out because they were a threat. All of us can't be number 1 threats in your minds. That's just not possible. And you're doing a disservice to us by like not telling us the truth about how you actually felt about us. So I would like each of you to rank us in order of who you felt most threatened by in this game. And that's it, just a list of names.
Okay, yeah, I'll start out. I think least threatened was by Carrie, just because it seemed I won't do explanations. What I will say though is that just because someone's low on this list, I do think people were threats. I'd say Carrie, Matthew, Storm, Parker, Grant, Sam, Margot. Sorry, Ellie would be probably right above Carrie, based off how I perceived her game with all of you guys. So if that makes sense, where I listed her.
I can go most threat to least threat. So I'd say Grant, Mary, probably Sam, Storm, Ellie, Evan, Margot, Parker, just because, sorry.
Okay. Grant, Sam, Margot, Storm, Carrie, Evan, Matthew. Oh, I mean, Parker is above Carrie. But yeah.
All right. Well, that concludes the jury portion of this final tribal. The only thing that's left to do is vote. I am going to be going into my voting booth breakout room and bringing you all one by one into the room, and we'll see after that. One of you will be our sole survivor and a winner of $100 cold hard cash via Venmo. All right, I'll be right back.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. You know the drill.
I'm voting for winner.
Yes. Mhm.
Matthew has my vote.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you very much. Hi, friend.
Hey, Matt.
Who's got your vote?
Forgive me if I err on the side of brevity, but I think out of everyone, he played the most honestly. Sounds like he betrayed the fewest people.
Ellie and Evan, we said we would never write each other's names down. And it looks like tonight I will be the only one keeping that promise. My vote tonight is for Matthew Labar.
So I think that I'm gonna vote for Evan.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I know that Matthew's gonna win. It seems like everyone in the jury is really excited about him. I was going into this jury really being like, I'm voting for Ellie, but she did not make a good case for herself. And I still love Ellie. When you're watching this, Ellie, all love. But I just think Evan did play a really good game. And like the fact that he won so many challenges, although Matthew's probably gonna win, like I think he deserves a vote.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Ellie played hella dirty. Evan was stupid for pairing with her dirty self. Matthew won mad challenges and is generally a saint and didn't do nothing to nobody.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being such a great sport. Who's got your vote?
I'm voting for Matthew.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say or not?
I don't know. I think I played a great game. Other people have said before that like Ellie overstated how much of this game she played. And I truly played 95% of it for her until the very end. And truly, Ellie and Evan shot themselves in the foot by not keeping me in the final three. So
I would agree.
dug their own graves.
Damn. All right. Well, thank you very much. We're going to see the votes now. All righty. Here we are at the very end of the game. For the final time in this game, I will read the votes. Remember, you want to see your name on this card. These are votes for a winner. Here we go. First vote, Matthew. Second vote, Matthew. Third vote, Evan. Fourth vote, Matthew. Fifth vote, Matthew. The winner of Survivor, Agents of Chaos, Matthew. Congratulations, Matthew. Matthew, you have anything to say?
All I'll say is I think I really lived up your advice of just ride with the chaos rather than trying to control it better than anyone else here, and I think that's why I won. And it was great playing with all of you, and I hope you guys had as good a time, well, close to as good a time as I did, because I guess it is a little bit better sort of winning at the end, but other than that.
Sure thing, sure. All righty. Well, congratulations, Matthew, and congratulations to our runners-up, Evan and Ellie. Thank you all so much, so much for an amazing season. Thank you all for your energy and your commitment. This has been really, really great, and I really want to thank you all for all of that. I want to plug my podcast. It's Not That Scary. Margot is a co-host along with her boyfriend, Jaden. We talk about horror movies, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Matthew, I'm going to be Venmoing you your $100 right now.
Great.
Congratulations.
I want to say two more things. One is thank you for doing this, Ethan.
Sure.
Secondly, about that X-Men thing, I want to explain because Storm said, how was I surprised I won the memory challenge? And the reason that Margot knows that I know all those X-Men movies is I was talking to her about how like I can't remember like how much gas I have in my car, like what shirt I'm wearing, but I can name all the X-Men movies and like summaries of them. So that's why, like in that context is why I was talking about that. Thought you guys should know.
Fair enough. Well, we will be having a season 5. You all may sign up if you like. Keep your eye out on the Facebook for that. Unless anybody has anything else they'd like to say, I'm gonna hang the heck up.
Listen to It's Not That Scary. It's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
It's good. It's good. And
Thank you, Ethan.
thank you all. Thank you all. This has been a
for
pleasure.
all of this and all of this work and coordination. It's amazing.
Of course. Thank you all. Bye-bye.